Well, number one, it's easy, right? That's the easy layup, is Jaden Daniels.
Right.
I mean, he took him to the woodshed and finished the deal. But I also attribute coaching to the equation. And what I mean by that is the lack of focus with coaches that are getting prepared to either interview with jobs, take jobs, whatever the case may be. I just feel like it's always bad timing for these coaches because they got to try to figure out how to build a staff, get a staff, and game plan at the same time, focus in. It's only human nature.
Yeah, there's only 24 hours in a day.
It's 24 hours in a day. And I remember and we wasn't even on a playoff run, but we were trying to get into the playoffs. And I remember walking down the hallway at Valley Ranch, and Sean Payton was our offensive coordinator at the time, and he was up for a couple of head coaching jobs, and one of the jobs was the New Orleans Saints. And I happened to be leaving the building, just walked through that way, and his door was cracked open, and I could tell the story because it's true. Sean was in there. He had all the media guides and the different stuff for these job openings. And it's his off time, but he's preparing for whatever his interviews are. And I stopped in. I was like, Sean, man, what you doing? He said, you know, if Bill saw you doing this, what would happen? And Sean's like, I know. I'm just going to finish it up real quick, and then I'm going to get back to game plan. But your mind's go in a different direction. If you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, when they went to the Super Bowl, both coordinators went on to become head coaches, but they lost. They wound up losing the game. And so I look at that, I'm like, okay, I go back and I look at that, I say, okay, well, I mean, all right, does that contribute to those sort of things? Because Ben Johnson wasn't on point. He didn't call a clean game. Jared Goff got something to do with that, but he didn't call a clean game. He didn't call his best game. And then we already know on the defensive side, they were already broken down and guys are getting hurt, and Aaron Glenn's got to focus in on that, but still try to manage if the whats, the buts, if I get hired, if I interview, what my staff look like. All of those things is a human nature. So I contribute to all of those sort of things to why they would lose.
Key, if we don't have the same energy for Lamar Jackson when they lose, when Justin Herbert when he lose, when Love when he lose, let's have the same energy for Goff. Goff came out and played the second worst game of the season. 4 turnovers. It don't go no further than this. You got a passer rating of 111.8 during the regular season. You was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league.
He didn't help.
And you come out here and throw 23 for 40.
He didn't help.
3 interceptions?
He didn't help.
This is Goff and Goff only. I'm not putting this on nobody else because if we gonna say Lamar name,
Goff didn't call a reverse pass.
It don't matter.
With a runner, a receiver running the throw. That wasn't Jared Goff.
That wasn't the only play. That play didn't cost him the game. It's his overall play.
I understand, but I'm just saying.
His overall play was atrocious.
That wasn't Jared Goff. You got a runner throwing the football. You should have a thrower throwing it.
Right. You're talking about one play. So I just want this same energy for all these other quarterbacks. I don't want to let him off.
No, he ain't off.
Yeah, but the coaches, and they think about other jobs. And
I can't eat. I got to leave some meat on the bone for you.
No.
If I take Jared off and the coaches and everything, everybody,
come on now.
And both of y'all make great points. That was some shot to take at me, guys.
Right, but both of you guys are making great points.
I think it's like took my single shot, like scratching my eyeball.
Both of you guys make great points because you only have so much brain equity. You only have so much. When you start putting it on this and putting on that, when the other guys are focused solely on winning games, that takes away from it. But you got 4 you out the door. 4 turnovers, 4 you out the door. And you thought you could do this because you've gone in the season. You had 5 turnovers and still won that game.
Right.
But the other part to that was that fell on the other side.
Yeah,
this time.
He added to it.
That
he definitely
fella
added
on the other side named Jaden Daniels and what he did, because every time they tried to mount that comeback, he put out that fire by making great plays and putting them on top. So yeah, you guys can be upset that you blew an opportunity, but you got to recognize for that next opportunity, oh, we underestimated that dude over there. We can't do that again.
I think it's injuries and Jared Goff. Every time I want to climb on the Jared Goff bandwagon, and I usually do, something like this happens. I still think he's a great player. I still think he's, the future of the Lions, and he's had the ability to have big games, and he's had the ability to have really, really awful games. Unfortunately, this really, really awful game was in the postseason, and you don't get to bounce back from those. In the regular season, when you have 5 interceptions and we say you still had a good game, well, you figured it out, and Jaden Daniels wasn't on the other side, and this wasn't the postseason, and the other team wasn't coming to the game ready to play, and you weren't. So maybe it was the coaches weren't completely locked in. That's reasonable.
I think that's a piece.
That's a piece of it. Maybe it was the defensive injuries paired with the 4 turnovers. They weren't able to overcome that.
Same defense all season.
But some point it's going to bite you, though.
When you turn the ball over that much,
Yeah.
I think they've done an incredible job bouncing back from all the injuries. Most teams would not be able to field a team that was functional with that many injuries. So it's a testament to what Aaron Glenn did and what they were able to overcome. And their offense playing as well as they did throughout most of the season to not put their defense in harm's way. However, when you have Jaden Daniels on the other side, when you turn the ball over 4 times, you're not going to be able to overcome that in the postseason. And that is on Jared Goff. Jared Goff, for whatever the coaches call, Jared Goff is the one on the field. And if it was Lamar Jackson, if it was Patrick Mahomes, if it was Josh Allen, if it was Jaden Daniels, if it was Jordan Love, we would be putting this at the feet of the quarterback, and we're not doing that with Jared Goff.
He's not on that Mount Rushmore.
We've put a lot of praise on him throughout the season, and he's got to take responsibility for that. You can't be responsible for 4 turnovers in a postseason game and not get the lion's share of the blame for why you went up.
Right.
Exactly,
but I don't want us to miss this. I don't want us to miss this. I know they were banged up in the backfield and all the
didn't
things
say
that we're
nothing about
talking
the coaches
about.
for
But I
Baltimore,
want to show you guys something. Because, yeah, they were banged up, but I saw some pretty good coverage. And I saw some insane throws. You watch this throw to De'Ami Brown. This dude is covered. Ain't nothing wrong with this defensive back. You watch how this ball falls in. That's a throw from heaven. That's a throw from heaven. They always say you can't throw it and catch it. That's basically throwing it and catching it right there. That was right in his hands. The DB was right. So yes, all of that matters. But if he don't make these throws, then they have an opportunity to make that comeback.
That's also a great call by Cliff Kingsbury because the outside receiver held that safety. And Jaden held the safety with his eyes.
Look at that throw. Look at that throw.
So what you're saying, Michael, is...
That's 2 guys back there. Y'all say they ain't have nobody. They had 2 guys back there. He still went down there. So take this phone.
What you're saying is Jaden Daniels beat the Lions. The Lions didn't beat themselves.
The Lions felt we should have walked away with this game, even with 4 turnovers. We walked away before with 5. We walked away with 4 or 5. But they ain't had that dude. This is a different thing.
Yeah, I didn't discount
that's what they got
picks, though, this game either.
Oh, no, they all have to all count.
Yeah, I can't discount him because he was literally throwing them to the other people. No, he was throwing them to the other guys.
Yeah, so a lot of this is on his hands.
And I started off by saying Jared Goff Jaden Daniels is obviously the reason.
He's the reason.
He's literally the reason. But there's other factors in it.
He had a spectacular game, and he took advantage of all of those mistakes. But the Lions did their part in making sure that they went home. This wasn't a shootout, and Jaden just came out on top. The Lions did not play their best game, and particularly Jared Goff. And they are losing another coordinator, are the Lions, as Keyshawn's former teammate, Aaron Glenn, is the Jets' new head coach. A story that our guy, NFL insider Jordan Schultz, broke earlier today. The Lions were 10.5 games over 500 in Glenn's 4 seasons as Detroit's DC. The Jets, on the other hand, have the 4th worst record in the league over that same span since 2021. So, Keith, I think we know the answer to this, but is this the right move for Aaron Glenn to take the Jets' job?
1,000%. When you look at the jobs that are available or were available at the time, Chicago was looking for something different. They hired Ben Johnson. New England, obviously, that was a Vrabel move day one.
Clearly.
Raiders, that's not a good situation based on where the team makeup is. Jacksonville, Trent Baalke's not there anymore, which that's kind of weird, that whole dynamic in Jacksonville, which I think is a really good job in terms of the players that's there. But the owners in Jacksonville, they just seem kind of up and down on what they want to do. And then when you look at New Orleans, for AG, New Orleans, it's a little bit of a dumpster fire right now. There's nothing good there. The Jets situation is phenomenal. They got players, okay? And what he can do is go in to New York set a different type of culture that's there. And I can guarantee you 100,000% that coach is going to change overnight because he's not the typical quiet, not going to say anything. No, he's going to challenge his players just like he did as a defender. He's going to challenge his teammates like he did. I mean, he's going to get his coaches to do certain things and do it a certain way. He will not start off his career, and I said this first. Nobody else is saying this. He will not start off his career with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback in September. And if he does, then I'm walking from Calabasas at 4 a.m. in the morning to the studio.
The whole walk with you.
With nothing on but boxers.
Oh.
Okay? So I'm saying this with a lot of confidence.
I'm going to put a futures bet on this.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just letting you know he ain't going to start his career with that mess. He's not going to happen. He's not going to allow somebody to tell him what he's doing as a coach.
Don't put that pressure on that man.
No, I ain't got to put pressure on
the
him.
option.
I ain't,
Hey, don't put that.
I can almost guarantee
Who they going to go in the season with? They got nothing.
I don't know who they going in the season with, but they ain't going in the season number 8.
They don't got nothing. Don't put the, don't bet
They ain't
that.
going to season number 8.
And he
I know
can't
that's your
set
boy and
himself
all.
up for failure by not just saying we're going to draft somebody or go. So
No,
if it
can't
ain't
go
Aaron
in with
Rodgers,
that.
he
Can't go in. Can't go in.
That might be his
with
starter
that type
kit.
of disruption.
Might be his starter
Can't
kit.
do that.
And I understand that.
Can't do it.
I totally understand.
Can't do it and ain't gonna do it.
And what I believe, like, and I know you talked about how he's going to create the culture. I believe that culture's already starting right now when they named him here.
Man, people hot. People fired up. I'm a Jet fan.
Think about this too.
Our Jets?
Man, our Jets.
Right. And think about this last 2 years. It's been all about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And that defense been swinging and working hard. Now the heat comes back to that defense. And this dude with Gardner, so you know what I mean? You can see that's already a culture because now it turns back over to that defense. Now, I'm pondering what he's going to do at the quarterback situation. You say Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there. I hope he goes and find him a veteran quarterback that just keeps him in the game so he can mastermind with that defense in his side of the ball. But just keep him in the game. I hope he's not going in with a rookie quarterback.
No, I don't know whether or not he's going in with a rookie.
But you know it ain't Aaron Rodgers.
I know it ain't going to be Aaron Rodgers. That's what I do know. Now, whether or not he's talked to Aaron Rodgers.
You must already got a consulting job already, huh?
No, I don't need a consulting job. I know look, there's one thing I know, Paul, is that's been a friend of mine since basically high school.
All right.
We played on 2 different teams together. Okay, we done traveled the world together. I don't need to talk to AG to know because I also know who his mentors are.
Right.
And those mentors, they ain't going in there with Aaron Rodgers. Right. So I know damn well he ain't gonna do it because they gonna tell him, "Hey man, that ain't gonna do nothing to set you up for failure. Yeah. Give yourself an opportunity, a chance to be successful without carrying somebody else's burden with you."
Will that be his choice?
I think it's going to be. Put it this way, Joy, I think it's already his choice.
Okay.
Even without a general manager hired.
I think it's absolutely the right move. I mean, obviously, being that he was a former Jet, with Keyshawn, he understands,
Jet and Cowboy.
He knows his way around the building, which is a great thing. And then anytime the window of opportunity is open for you to get in that head coaching fraternity, because you notice in all these sports, when you start to become a head coach, you're in the fraternity to where now you're presented with another job as a head coach again. Like if things don't work out, it's like they recycle these head coaches in all these top professional sports. And so to get your name finally in there after paying your dues as, a defensive coordinator, defensive back coach, and assistant defensive back end, you played in the league. So now it took all these years to get to this point. So now you're in the mix. So it's a great opportunity for him. And on top of him being playing in the Jets culture, maybe there's something he can create. Well, what I don't know and I didn't look up was he on the last team to play in the playoffs? Well, they haven't made the playoffs since 2010, but did y'all make the playoffs?
No, we went to AFC Championship game
with him,
in '98.
Right?
He was there with us.
He was there.
No, he was there with us. He played with us. He played with me in Dallas and New York and Dallas.
So it's been since 2010 since a playoff berth But yeah, this is a great move.
And
Hopefully
but not
it
only
gives
that-
them excitement, though. See, this is the thing about coaches. You want something like whenever I play for a new coach, you want that coach to energize you,
Right,
too. You want to
right,
be excited for him to come in, and he's one of those guys. You know, some of these places, they hire these coaches, and they be like, we got him? You know what I'm saying?
They fired up in New York right now.
Yeah, they fired up. This is absolutely the right move, Joy.
If he hires Steve Wilkes as his defensive coordinator, which is widely reported out there, that's already an A+.
Yeah, that's a great hire.
That's an A+ already.
They ran Steve out of there for no reason.
They ran Steve out and got rid of the defensive coordinator after you ran Steve out, and now you crawling to beg Robert Saleh possibly to come back in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Smart move, right?
I mean, I didn't like when they were being critical of Steve Wilkes. I thought it was silly when they were talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Bosa, you heard it first.
Well, you know how I feel about the Jets. I think it's down to the foundation. So I'm excited for him to have this opportunity. I agree with you. I would not want to do it with Aaron Rodgers, being that he is someone who's familiar with the building. From the outside looking in with no research, you would be like, why would they fire a former defensive coordinator to then hire another defensive coordinator? But I don't think they should have fired Saleh, and that's pretty obvious from the way that the season ended anyway. But this is a new chapter.
Yes.
And what he's done in Detroit, and particularly this year with all the injuries, for them to be able to still be the #1 seed in the NFC is a box checked on another level for me. So obviously a team without a quarterback is difficult to get behind in year one. So we have to see what he ends up doing there. But as with any first-time head coach, the coordinators are always the biggest question.
Yeah, but he's a good football coach.
Yes.
I don't want us to look at him as a DC or a DB coach. He's literally a football coach. On both sides of the ball, special team. Like, he's a coach. He's an X and O guy. He's been around Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Sean Payton, and Dan Campbell. That's who he's worked with as his head coaches. So you coming in
So smart.
with ridiculously
smart
smart.
dude.
Ridiculously smart. And I ain't hyping him up just because he's my friend.
He is.
He really is good. No, I'm hype.
You can hype him up because
I'm
he's your
hype.
friend. We do that. That's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, Keith.
No, it's
That's what
not.
you just said.
I'm just letting people know. I'm not overhyping him. I'm letting you know this is legit.
You're just expressing real.
It's legit.
Yeah.
He is absolutely legit.
When people talk about Woody Johnson and getting in the way and all that, I'm here to tell you, Joy, you ain't got to worry about that no more. Just telling you, you don't have to worry about it no more. Just trust me on that one. You don't have to worry about it no more.
I can't wait to see it.
Don't worry about it no more.
And if he wins in New York, it's over.
So what's going to happen if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback?
I'm walking.
We filmed it.
Y'all gonna film it.
There is a long, interesting list of quarterbacks who are available in free agency.
There's some opportunity.
And via trade this year, though.
I just need you to do certain things for now.
There's a lot of bridge guys that we haven't gotten into these conversations yet because the season hasn't finished. But once we get to the off season, because this is a light draft for top high end quarterback prospects, there are a lot of bridge guys that are going to be very, very interesting, and I think effective.
Somebody's going to get overpaid.
Oh, for sure. For sure, someone's going to get overpaid. But somebody's going to land in the right spot and actually have an opportunity to earn like a Baker Mayfield type of contract.
So when you start
Donald back to New York,
no, you can't do it. You can't do it psychologically. He's already fractured. You don't want to do that anyway. Because that ain't even a bridge. But here's a bridge. Here's a bridge for you. Just ain't nobody told me this. Ain't nobody said it. And because you just brought it up and you said bridge quarterbacks. Jameis Winston was with him in New Orleans, and it made me think about it. That's a guy that all I need you to do is hand the football off, and every now and then make 1 or 2 screen throws and dunk your dunks, because we're gonna win a certain way. That's a bridge guy that you look at and you go, okay, ain't gonna cost me much.
But there's a lot of names out there. Jameis,
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of them.
I mean, Justin.
But he
Fields
was
is gonna
with
be
him in
available.
New Orleans, so
he's familiar with him.
Yeah, he's familiar with him.
Earlier in the week,
they're ready to handle that New York crowd. Y'all just throwing him in New York like it's easy. Go to New York. That's a whole.
Oh no, it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be.
But he
easy.
played there.
I think this is a good hire.
You know,
he's
We're
familiar
talking about
with
his
it.
quarterback.
Oh, wasn't it quarterback? Well, we're not asking him to be Patrick Mahomes.
I will say, I think how it's marketed matters in New York. So part of the reason why this all fell apart outside of the way that Aaron Rodgers played was that it was marketed like they should have been going to the Super Bowl, like they should have been winning the division, and they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. And because those expectations were so ridiculous.
But that's New York. That's not their fault. They're just having confidence in their team. And that's what I'm saying. That's what everybody has to be ready to handle. And some of those guys have already gone that mountain before. Like you said, Sam may not want to go back to New York. Like, I'm not going back there. There's no way.
Or he might, depending on what the bag looked like.
Right. Well, you're right. But the game, obviously, he said he was seeing ghosts. I wouldn't go back to the haunted house. So I'm just saying, I would go back. So he has to find a quarterback so we can see his gifts take over on the defensive side.
Yeah. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.